let's start with reviewing the Northeast region.
New Hampshire, Vermont, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, New York, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland.
I still have people that don't know this one. They get Connecticut and New Jersey. This is Connecticut, this is New Jersey, right beside Pennsylvania. The one you need to know for the next quiz though, next Tuesday's quiz is this one. So if you do not know this one, you need to pay attention.
West Virginia, Virginia, Tennessee, Kentucky, Georgia, Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, Arkansas, North Carolina, West Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina.
If you're guessing, go back and figure it out. You know the one that looks like a pocket is West Virginia. The one right below it's going to be Virginia. So then that one has to be North Carolina. Go back and say them in order to get it down in your head. Even when I skip around, you need to think it through. So what is this one?
North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida.
This time I am going to go in order.
West Virginia, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Louisiana, Arkansas, Tennessee, Kentucky, Florida.
All right. So study them, study them, study them. They will be on the next quiz. They will be on the next test. All right. On page 142, we read the top part, but we need to start at becoming a leader. So at the bottom where it says becoming a leader, that's where we need to start. God had allowed the Americans to defeat the English. Now it was time to choose a leader for their new country. John Adams' name was put on the ballot in the first election for the President of the United States. Did he win? No, he did not win, because who was the first President of the United States? George Washington. At this time, the two men with the highest votes were chosen, no matter if they had the same political beliefs or not. George Washington was voted as president, and John Adams, who received the second largest number of votes, became the first vice president of the United States. They do not do that today. Today, the president, whoever's running for president, they get to pick who they want to be their vice president, who's running with them. Okay, and then if the president, whoever wins, that's who's going to be the vice president, it's whoever they picked. But back then, George Washington got the most votes, but he became president. John Adams got the second most votes, so he became vice president. Vice President Adams and his family moved to New York City, which served as the first capital of the United States. The capital later moved to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, for 10 years until the current capital, Washington, D.C., was built. John Adams was later elected the second president of the United States. Thomas Jefferson was elected as his vice president. They did not agree about what the country should do, but they did their best to work together and help the new country grow. During his term in office, the president's mansion, now called the White House, was finished. So John Adams and his family were the first people to live there. He wrote a letter saying, I pray heaven to bestow the best of blessings on this house and in all that should hereafter inhabit it. May none but honest and wise men ever rule under this roof. All right, so John Adams and his family were the first ones to live in the White House. Mr. Adams lost the election and moved back home to his farm. He enjoyed writing about many different topics for the rest of his life. He and his friend Thomas Jefferson wrote hundreds of letters to each other that kept their friendship close. Mr. Adams was happy to hear that his son, John Quincy, had found his place in the political world. John Quincy Adams later became the sixth president of the United States. Mr. Adams wanted to live to see the 50th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence, and he did. On the afternoon of July 4th, 1826, exactly 50 years after it was signed, John Adams died. His friend, Thomas Jefferson, the writer of this important document, died on the very same day. Sort of. Ooh, gives you chills, doesn't it?
Yeah.
He wanted to live to see the 50th birthday of the United States of America, and he did, but he actually died on that very day. And Thomas Jefferson also. Alright, the blank was John Adams' most important trial as a lawyer. By the way, this is on the next page. Who can remember? It's what we read yesterday. We had a name of a city, and then what happened there? Brantley?
New York City.
No. You guys have forgot already? You guys were so enthralled by it when I read it yesterday. It's where some people got shot. They were throwing snowballs at the British soldiers, and they got shot, and they called it the
Boston Massacre.
Boston Massacre.
Oh.
So what was his most important trial? The Boston Massacre. What was the unfair English law that made Connors pay a tax on legal papers? What was it called? It was named the... Let me answer the last one. You guys don't remember that? We talked about this one before John Adams. We already talked about this.
Treaty of Paris.
No, that's the document that was written out to end the war.
Stamp Act.
Stamp Act. Very good. It's called the Stamp Act. Good job. John Adams was one of the delegates who attended this, what was the very first, I'm giving you a hint there, the very first big meeting where they were talking about how unfairly England was treating the colonies. Right.
First Continental Congress.
Very good. The First Continental Congress. And Mr. Adams believed that government should have 3 separate parts. Name one of those 3 separate parts. Legislate. Very good. Everybody say that. Legislative. Give me another one. Almost. Judicial. Everybody say that one.
Judicial.
And I want somebody who hasn't answered yet. What's the other one? Executive. There you go. Executive. Everybody say that one.
Executive.
So, of those branches of government, which one of those is the one responsible for making the laws? This is number 5. Which one makes the laws? Ding.
Executive.
No. I give you a hint for executive. Executive starts with an E. You need to remember. It's the legislative. Legislative makes the laws. All right. Which one interprets the laws? Interprets the laws. Georgia. No, you were forgetting the hint I gave you for executive. You guys keep wanting to use judicial. Everybody say that one again.
Judicial.
Judicial interprets the laws. And then which one enforces the laws? Dang. Executive. It's the one that starts with E. Remember I told you enforces starts with an E and so does executive. So executive is the one that enforces the law. Executive. Everybody say that word.
Executive.
Alright. There are 9 members in the executive branch. It's made up of 9 members of the what? Actually, no, I'm sorry. It's the judicial branch. My bad. In the judicial branch, there are 9 members that make up the what? Remember, these are the ones that interpret the law. Yes.
Supreme Court.
Supreme Court. 9 members make up the Supreme Court in the judicial branch of government. John Adams was one of the signers of this, which was what brought an end to the Revolutionary War. What brought an end to the Revolutionary War? Raise your hand only if you haven't answered anything yet. You have answered. Some of you did answer, but you got it wrong. What brought an end to the war? What was the paper signed by John Adams? He was one of the signers of the paper that brought an end to the war.
Treaty of Paris.
Yes, that's where we need Treaty of Paris. And President John Adams and his family were the first to live in the President's Mansion, which is now called the